As a foreigner or even for a local, you probably have some questions. Like, where does someone buy a car, how does it work with all the registration, and where can you find your own car? In this video I'm going to show you everything that you need to know about getting a car and all the information that you are required to have before you are going to buy a car, and all the information we wish we had before we dove into this process. My name is Harley Hoffman, and today I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about buying and owning a car in Malaysia. So to start, where can you find the right car? These three websites that I'm going to show you down below are the three most famous websites you can find all the cars. It goes from brand new cars to used cars like we got. Just something really good to know is when you are looking on these websites, you only see the price that comes up for the car for the body. So for example, this car was around 4,000, but that was only for the body. Once we went into the local shops, they also gave us the price with the insurance, with the road tax, with the paxam, with riding the car on our own name. So these are all things that will come on top of getting your car. So be prepared before you start buying a car that are more expensive than you see right at the start. But I will talk about more on this video later. Also, a really good way to find your own car is go on Google, type in used cars, and then you can find the 10 closest car ranges to you, like the car dealers to you. Always be careful when going into a car dealer. Not everyone is legit as they say. Always look at the reviews to see what other people have with their experience. And you always need to be lucky with buying a car from someone, especially as a foreigner, because we take the car and we drive around the country and then we probably won't come back here, so it's a bit more risky with that. But it's a really good option to buy a car from a dealer because they will also help you with the process. But more about the process, let's talk about that. So once you found the right car from Carmuda or My Car List and you are going to the dealer, just know that 95% of the dealers that are showing their car on the website is the exclusive price. So what I'm talking about with the exclusive price is that's the price that you pay for the car. It seems pretty obvious, but once you're going to the dealer and the dealer has a car that's around the 10,000k, 10,000 ringgit, that's value, you can add up another 2,000k for the additional fees that come on top of it. We talk about the inspection fee, we're talking about road tax, insurance, paxam. These are the kind of things the dealer will take care of you. There are also ways that you can take care of it yourself and save some money, but it's really a lot of work if you're not really used to it, so I would just recommend letting the dealer do their thing with that. But just know that the car it doesn't increase in price, but insurance you got to pay for the full year in front, same with the road tax, so you will probably spend another 2k at least for most cars that you see online. So if you think I'm going to buy a car online, it's around the 2,000-3,000, which they are online, so you have a really cheap car which would be around the 150 euros for it. The car will end up around the 5k, so almost half the value of the car is in the insurance and the road tax. So keep that in mind if you only want to buy a car for 2 or 3 months, because it's easy to travel, that you will end up spending more than you thought in the beginning of the process. That's something that we noticed. We thought we were going to get a really cheap car with a dog, easy, but in our experience it was a bit more pricey, more expensive than we thought it would be. So just know that when you're looking for a second-hand car online. So once you found your car and you want to buy one, what's the next step in the process? So first things first, and that will be the inspection. What are they going to do with the inspection? They are going to check if your car is still legit, if your car is valid. So they are going to check the CC number, they're going to check the motor number, they check if the car is valid and still available and good for on the road, that it hasn't been stolen. So you can keep in mind that that will probably be around the 200-300 ringgits to book that, and most of the time it will take a day. So if you have bought the car today, you can fix it yourself and the inspection will come today or even tomorrow. So that's the next step. And then we are going on to the insurances. Something that's really good to know about the insurances is there are 3 different types of insurance. You got the third party, which when you hit someone in an accident, only the person that you hit is insured and covered. You got the third party theft and fire. So if something happens to your car, if there are stuff in your car, you get it back from the insurance if it's broken in. And you got the first party, as they call it. And with first party, not only the person that you hit with the accident gets money in return or back from it, but also you get it. It's really depending on the value of your own car, like how much is your car that you're going to buy worth, to decide which kind of package you are going to get. So for example, if you would have an expensive BMW and Audi, it would maybe be a better choice to get a first party insurance, so both parties are insured. But for us, as we have a second-hand used car, we took a third party and theft insurance with that. There are some websites that you can find it on yourself to get the insurance done, but also the dealer can help you with it. What kind of price can you think about if you're talking about insurance? I know that we paid around 600-700 ringgits for the insurance, and that's for the full year. It's also depending on which type you take, but for us that was the case. And the next one is the road tax. Road tax is a really easy one. You can just go to the GPG office, which is depending on where you are or at the local store. But at the GPG office you can apply for the road tax. There's also an app that you can download, which you can renew every year or every 6 months your road tax. Road tax is approximately around the 60 ringgits, 70 ringgits for a full year for the car. Also depending on how many cc does the car have, how much does it weigh and everything. But that's also additional cost that comes on top of it. You can do it yourself through the app or go to the GPG office. And how does it work with the registration for a foreigner? So as Danik and I bought a car in Malaysia and we are two foreigners here, the most important thing for us is that we had an international driving license and that we had our passport with us. With my passport and my international driving license, together with the dealership, I went to the GPG office. It took us about approximately 1 hour to get everything done. But it was really easy. We just went up to the locket, we got a number, and we waited until it was a turn. Once it was a turn, we gave all the paperwork to the lady. She wrote everything into the computer. She writes in the new owner, so you are officially the new owner. You get a certificate with your name on it for the police that has actually your name on it. Make sure they get your passport number and your name right on it, because as with me, they made a mistake to make the 5 S. Thankfully the dealer saw this mistake and they corrected it. Otherwise you have the wrong data on your certificate, and that's not really something you want to have for in case you want to resell it or something happens. Also a quick tip, you can do this yourself or you can do it with a dealer. This is also something that will cost you around 200 to 300 RM. So by now it's not only that we have bought the car, but we also have bought all the additional stuff with it. So just keep in mind there are a lot more expenses that are coming with it. So by now you should know most of the things that you know to obtain your own car. Getting the road tax done, getting the insurance, getting the inspection, and putting the car on your own name. These are the 4 things that you need to get done when you are going to buy a car and you want to do it yourself. In case you buy from a dealer, the dealer can also help you with this. You obviously pay a bit more money for it, but he will help you with the process. But it's really good doable to do it. Something that I would also give you as advice is obviously you're going to need gasoline. We were really surprised the first time that I needed some gasoline, because it is really cheap here in Malaysia to get 95 unleaded. For example, 95 unleaded was around the 40 cents for a liter, so 40 cents for 1 liter. In Europe it would almost be 2 euros for a liter. In Thailand it would be €1.10 for a liter. So getting gasoline in Malaysia is one of the cheapest things that you can get here almost, next to a cone I think from the McDonald's. Also, how does it work? You can just drive up to a gasoline shop. You need to go in because you need to say, hey, I want to fill up my gas full, can you unlock it? Because they're always locked just for the security. Something else that's really good to know, Malaysia is almost a cash-free country. I'm not talking about when you're going to the local markets, but if you're going to use the ferries, the boats, the buses, it's all cash-free. So they use the app which is called Cash and Go, or even GrabPay. These are the mostly apps that are used here if you're going to park here, because parking in Malaysia can be very difficult, especially if you're a foreigner for us and new in this country. We came, for example, from Thailand, where everything is done with cash. Cash is really the king over there, but in Malaysia that's not the case. If you're going to a parking lot, to the mall, or to an underground parking, you gotta chip your pass at first, then you can enter, and after you gotta chip your card again. They will register everything on your vehicle number, so you cannot really pay with cash anymore. Even if there are security or guards, it's not possible to do it with cash. So make sure that you have a Cash and Go app downloaded and get a Cash and Go card when you are planning to buy a car, because even in the gasoline stores, at the gas stations, you can go and pay with those cards. Something that's also really good to know about the driving style in Malaysia is that it's nothing like the Western driving style culture. It's most of the time a bit of free-for-all when you are on the road. For example, if you want to go to the right, you really need to take your place on the road because they are not going to give you the space. I won't say that the Malaysian people are like aggressive people in the driving with their driving style, but they are not really well aware of the surroundings or the things that are happening around them. So always make sure that you really take a good look before you take action. Also, with all the motorbikes that are crossing you from left to right, there are no rules about that. So keep that in mind if you decide to buy a car that's driving out here in Asia. It is really good, the roads are really good, but the people are not really well aware of the surroundings, so it can be a bit tricky sometimes. So make sure that you're never in a rush or anything and that you just keep looking. Something that's good to know about the international driving license is that it must be in English. If you're coming from Spain, Argentina, I don't know, any Latin American country or even Europe, keep in mind that your international drive license must be in English. If it isn't in English, it's not valid to use it here in Malaysia. Ours is in English, so we got the luck that we don't need to do anything about it. But before you are planning to buy a car here, it must be in English because otherwise the people here can't read it and it's not valid to use. So that's a process that I want to give you to check. Also, I really hope that this video helps you guys with deciding to get a car, where you can buy a car. If you got any more questions for me or for the Nick, please let me know in the comments because we'll read them. Yeah, I hope you liked it. I hope you had something of this video. We'd really appreciate it if you like, follow and subscribe, and we see you next time.